He is a once-in-a-century genius who loves to ponder scientific problems while watching striptease shows. He was also a mischievously clever young man, an infinitely versatile mechanic, and an expert at cracking safes. He also took part in the Manhattan Project, developing the American atomic bomb. He loved Liao Mei all his life, married thrice, and was a born lover. His love letters to lost loves could move heaven and earth. He is the American Jewish physicist, Nobel Prize in Physics laureate, Richard Phillips Feynman. On May 11, 1918, Richard Feynman was born in New York to a working-class family. Both parents were Jewish immigrants working in the US. His mother was carrying old man Melville, Arthur Feynman's child, and he said if it was a boy, he wanted him to become a scientist. Unexpectedly, his dad really became a soothsayer. Richard Feynman's parents were quite liberal, encouraging free exploration. He grew up wildly, and his dad had a huge imagination, often asking all sorts the ever-unconventional Feynman wanted to get married. His bride-to-be was Arlene Greenbaum. They were high school classmates and dated for 6 years. Before marriage, Arlene was diagnosed with tuberculosis, then considered incurable. Despite this, Feynman defied his family's objection.
He chose to marry Arlene.
By then it was known he wouldn't live more than 2 or 3 years. For this reason, he even wrote a long letter to his mother about why he wanted to marry, firmly expressing, "I love her. I want to take care of her."
At the time, Feynman was 24 years old.
Just got his PhD from Princeton University. Los Alamos National Laboratory Director Oppenheimer, seeing Feynman's extraordinary talent, wanted to invite him to join the Manhattan Project to develop atomic bombs for the United States. However, at that time, Arlene was in conflict with Jack, and Feynman said he couldn't move to Los Alamos. Originally he thought this matter would end here, but then Macau. Oppenheimer personally found a hospital in Albuquerque for Arlene and assured Feynman he could work in the lab during the week and visit Arlene on weekends. Feynman was moved by Oppenheimer's thoughtfulness and agreed to his arrangement, taking charge of vital numerical calculation in the group. After joining the Manhattan Project, Feynman began to find the security measures at the research base inadequate. He began tinkering with how to crack safe codes again. Whenever he went to the secret room to borrow files, he could easily open the file cabinet with the lock-picking skills he taught himself and take out the documents he wanted. This scientist, who wouldn't hesitate to pick locks, caused the security department in charge of secrecy a lot of headaches, forcing them to continuously strengthen security measures. 3 years later, the world's first experimental atomic bomb exploded in the New Mexico desert in the United States. People at the site were distributed yellow glasses to protect their eyes from radiation. Feynman daringly removed his glasses and hid behind the windshield of a car, becoming the only person to witness the mushroom cloud explosion with the naked eye. On June 16, 1945, Arlene passed away. She was devastated. Their marriage lasted only 4 years. During that period, Feynman did not shed a single tear until about a month later when he saw a beautiful raincoat in the window of his store in Oak Ridge. He thought to himself, Arlene would definitely love this dress, and tears filled his eyes. After the plan ended, he entered Cornell University.
Professor.
In 1949, Feynman published The Theory of Positrons and Space-Time Approach to Quantum Electrodynamics. These theoretical insights later became indispensable tools for quantum electrodynamics and particle physics, laying a solid foundation for Feynman's Nobel Prize in Physics. Besides, Feynman also engaged in some unconventional proper activities. He liked patronizing strip clubs. He would order a bottle of Coke, watch the drag show, solve physics problems, or practice sketching. Later, this bar was sued, and the bar owner asked his regulars to defend him, but only Feynman agreed. Feynman thought, if you haven't done anything illegal, why fear? Just testify in court. News that the physics professor, who frequents the Checkmate House bar, made the front page the next day. Besides hanging out at bars and flirting, he was also busy getting married, divorced, and remarried. Feynman's third wife, Gwyneth Howard, was British. she was quite okay with Feynman frequenting this bar. He said, British men often go to clubs. This bar is Feynman's club. Say, hi you see your science. In 1965, at the age of 47, Feynman made outstanding contributions in quantum electrodynamics with his own learning method. He shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with American physicist Schwinger and Japanese theoretical physicist Tomonaga Shinichiro. A BBC reporter asked Feynman, are you qualified for the Nobel Prize? I don't think it's anything special. I don't like honors, leaving the journalist speechless. Later, he summarized his learning method into what is now recognized as the greatest learning method in history, the Feynman technique. According to Feynman's theory, if you can't teach someone, it's because you haven't truly understood it yourself. In 1986, after the Challenger space shuttle disaster in the United States, Richard Feynman was commissioned to investigate the cause of the accident. He performed an O-ring demonstration to prove that, under the temperature conditions on the day of the launch, the O-rings at the shuttle's joints did not lose their elasticity. Feynman simply used a cup of ice water and a rubber band to reveal the fundamental cause of the Challenger disaster to the public. In his later years, Feynman became engrossed in painting, enjoying line work and structure. He believes art and physics are closely linked. Both express the beauty and complexity of the natural world. Besides painting, he taught himself samba and throat singing, easily switching between strict science and romantic art. It's like he became a genius in everything just by playing around. After that, Feynman suffered from 2 rare cancers and died on February 15, 1988 in Los Angeles, California, after a 10-year battle with cancer at the age of 69. His last words before dying were, I hate dying twice, it's so boring. His tombstone reads, Stop all the fuss, Mr. Feynman. A phrase from his autobiography, Surely you're joking, Mr. Feynman, which was a bestseller at the time. When her family was sorting through her belongings, they found an unpublished letter. It was written by 28-year-old Feynman, a year after Arlene's death. In it, she humorously wrote, Please forgive me for not sending this letter, simply because I didn't know your new address. Perhaps there's a different Feynman in the eyes of 1,000 people. He always manages to play every role in life with the mindset of a game. Good looks are common, but an interesting soul is 1 in a million. Feynman is that 1 in a million.